Okay, let's unpack this. We've all sort of been raised with this mental split, right? Oral health is about structure, your teeth, your gums, brushing twice a day.
The physical stuff.
Exactly. And then gut health. That's all about function, digestion, absorbing nutrients. Happens way down the line, seemingly separate.
Well, that separation, it's really deeply ingrained, not just in how we think, but even in medicine. But our sources, they're showing that science is rapidly dissolving that barrier. It's breaking down.
So it's not just that they're physically connected by a tube.
No, not at all. We're talking about a really crucial, intertwined gut-mouth connection. It's like a systemic feedback loop, actually, that dictates quite a lot of your overall vitality.
Okay, and that's really our mission for this deep dive then, to explore just how profoundly linked these two systems actually are. Like how imbalances in one, maybe chronic gum inflammation or, that really persistent bad breath, are often signs of deeper trouble in the other. We want to look at the mechanisms, those surprising chemical signals flying back and forth, and maybe how specialized microbial support is now being used to try and restore harmony in both places at once.
Absolutely. And the stakes here, they're pretty high. This isn't just about, digestion or a trip to the dentist. The real core of this connection, it lies in the microbial communities. You've got your oral microbiome and your intestinal microbiome.
These cities of bacteria, as you called them before.
Yeah, exactly. They're not isolated islands. They're sophisticated communicating ecosystems. And the central finding, really, across all the research we looked at, is that when one community gets out of balance, what we call dysbiosis, the other one almost always suffers. And that kicks off this sort of cascading effect on your whole systemic health.
Okay, so let's start where digestion actually begins. The mouth. The sources we looked at described the mouth not just as, the place you put food, but as the actual gateway to the entire digestive tract.
That's a perfect way to put it. Every single time you swallow, you're essentially making delivery down to your gut.
A delivery of millions of organisms appear.
Yeah, millions with every mouthful. And whether those organisms you're sending down are like helpful allies or inflammatory invaders, well, that depends entirely on the state of your oral health.
Right. Now, this is where I think some people might push back a little. They might think, okay, if I swallow something bad, surely my stomach acid just zaps it, right? Isn't that the body's main defense?
That's a great question. And it really speaks to how tough some of these specific oral pathogens can be. While stomach acid is incredibly powerful, sure, it doesn't completely sterilize everything that goes down. What our sources show is that chronic poor oral hygiene actually selects for these really tough, acid-tolerant bacteria.
So they're resistant.
Exactly. They not only survive that gastric gauntlet, but they arrive down in the small and large intestines, basically ready to set up shop and cause trouble.
So, okay, that's the domino effect we mentioned. Poor oral hygiene means aggressive bacteria multiply in the mouth. You swallow them, they survive the stomach acid, and then they start causing dysbiosis, that imbalance in the gut.
Yes, and that gut dysbiosis then kicks off this chronic state of low-grade inflammation. The gut lining can become more permeable.
Yeah.
You might have heard the term leaky gut.
Right, leaky gut.
Which allows toxins and these inflammatory signals to actually leak out of the gut and into the bloodstream.
Okay, that sounds like the pivotal moment, because once those inflammatory signals are circulating in your blood, they can go anywhere.
Anywhere.
So the inflammation that started because you swallowed bad bacteria from your mouth, it can travel back up and affect your gum and mouth tissues again. It's a complete circle.
Correct. It's a full circle infection, or rather inflammation loop. The oral health issue, maybe initially caused by just not brushing well enough, gets worse and is perpetuated by the systemic inflammation that the resulting gut issue caused.
Wow. So protecting your mouth isn't just about preventing cavities. It's really about protecting your entire digestive system right from the start and avoiding those circulatory consequences too.
Precisely.
Okay, but here's the bit I find really fascinating, this two-way street idea. The gut's surprising ability to impact your mouth's health, even if, say, your brushing and flossing are perfect.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is understanding that a healthy gut isn't just passively processing food, it's actively producing health signals for the rest of your body. When your beneficial gut bacteria are thriving, they produce these essential compounds, postbiotics technically, specifically short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs.
SCFAs. Okay, we hear that term batted around a lot. What exactly are they doing that helps the mouth?
Well, they're crucial fuel, primarily for the cells lining your colon. Happy colon cells mean a strong intestinal barrier. But just as importantly, these SCFAs circulate in your bloodstream. And they are potent anti-inflammatory agents throughout the entire body. Our sources specifically highlight their role in dampening down that systemic inflammation, which
Oh.
directly reduces issues like swelling and bleeding in your gums. So basically, a healthy gut helps calm the whole system down, including your mouth.
So if a healthy gut sends calming signals, an unhealthy gut must be sending out alarm signals, like smoke signals.
Exactly like smoke signals. When the gut is unhealthy, leaky, inflamed, instead of sending out nice calming SCFAs, it's potentially leaking toxins and pro-inflammatory molecules, cytokines, into the bloodstream. And our research links this negative feedback loop directly to an increased risk of oral problems. Things like persistently swollen or bleeding gums, that chronic bad breath, maybe even more tooth sensitivity or decay.
So if your gut's fighting a battle, the collateral damage might actually show up in your mouth first.
Very often, yes.
Yeah.
It's a key indicator.
And we've got solid evidence backing up this two-way communication now, right? Not just theory.
We do. There was some 2023 research we reviewed that was pretty clear. It found that imbalances in gut flora directly and measurably affect the composition of the oral microbiome.
Wow.
It's not just a guess anymore. The health state of your digestive tract is actively sort of programming the environment in your mouth.
Okay, this insight completely changes how we need to think about chronic bad breath, doesn't it? Halitosis. I mean, that's probably the most frustrating symptom tied to this whole imbalance. How many people, furiously brush and rinse, thinking the problem's right there in the mouth, only to have that smell come back minutes later?
That is the classic scenario, the failure point. The common assumption is, oh, bad breath must be leftover food particles or maybe some gum disease I haven't dealt with.
Right. Localized.
But the sources we looked at suggest the real persistent culprit often starts much, much further down the pipeline, in the gut. This is where certain specialized gut bacteria come into play. Specific species deep down there produce volatile sulfur compounds, VSEs.
Volatile sulfur compounds. Okay, sounds bad.
They're bad smelling. These VSEs are literally foul-smelling gases. Things like hydrogen sulfide, methyl mercaptan, think rotten eggs, cabbage. Not pleasant. And what makes this so tricky, so counterintuitive, is the mechanism. These VSCs get absorbed from the gut into your bloodstream.
Right.
They travel to your lungs, and then you exhale them. Or they can actually escape upwards through the esophagus.
No way.
Yes, leading to that persistent kind of internal bad breath that no amount of mouthwash can mask, because it's literally coming from the inside out.
Wait a second. So I could be brushing my teeth perfectly, flossing like a champion, but still be getting these, odor signals sent directly up the pipe from my gut.
That's potentially exactly what's happening for many people with persistent halitosis.
That's wild. That really shifts the focus, doesn't it? Bad breath isn't necessarily just a dental flaw. It could be a systemic warning sign.
It absolutely is a systemic warning. And beyond just the smell, we also have to consider the immune connection here. Gut imbalance is known to weaken the body's overall immune defenses.
Right.
And when your immune system is running low, the mouth, which is constantly being exposed to new bacteria just from breathing and eating, becomes way more susceptible to infection and inflammation. It creates this tough cycle to break.
So, okay, the solution then can't just be a stronger mouthwash or more flossing. It really needs to be a more holistic strategy, right? Targeting both the mouth and the root cause down in the gut.
Exactly. This is where the targeted use of beneficial bacteria, probiotics, comes into the picture.
Probiotics, we usually think of those for digestion.
We do, traditionally. But research is now focusing really intensely on oral probiotics. These are specific strains chosen for their ability to actually live and thrive in the mouth environment. The idea is they restore harmony by outcompeting the harmful bacteria, the ones causing plaque, inflammation, bad smells. They support fresher breath by fighting those odor-producing species right at the source.
And because these are beneficial strains, they presumably offer that crucial dual benefit we talked about.
That's the goal. They start their work in the mouth, helping balance things there, but then when you swallow them, they continue their journey. If they're the right strains, they can survive the stomach and go on to positively influence gut health too, supporting digestion, nutrient absorption, and overall immune function. They act like bridge builders between the two systems.
It sounds like a smart approach, but getting those strains right must be key, ensuring they work in the mouth and survive the trip down.
Absolutely. The challenge in formulation is picking strains that are robust enough for both environments. They need to stick around in the mouth, but also withstand stomach acid and bile to effectively colonize the gut.
Okay, so let's dig into what a successful dual-action formula might look like, based on the principles in the research we reviewed. The sources hinted at a specific probiotic-powered strategy designed to hit both microbiomes. If we were designing this perfect strategy, what core actions would it absolutely need to perform to bridge that gut-mouth gap?
Well, based on everything we've discussed, that whole two-way street of imbalance, we can probably deduce, say, 6 essential actions. A truly comprehensive strategy has got to create harmony starting right up top in the mouth, and then third, it needs to strengthen gums and teeth. This involves supporting healthy gum tissue directly, but also strengthening tooth enamel indirectly by helping maintain a balanced, less acidic oral pH. Less acid means stronger enamel.
Okay, so those first three actions stabilize the mouth, tackle the surface symptoms we notice most. Now, how does this ideal strategy address the deeper systemic stuff coming from the gut?
Right. That brings us to the next 3 crucial actions. Number 4, the strategy must enhance gut health. This is critical. It requires specific, targeted probiotic strains known to survive stomach acid, make it to the gut, and actually colonize there. Their job is to promote digestive balance and, importantly, actively reduce that systemic inflammation that travels back up to the mouth.
Gotcha. Gut health enhancement. What's fifth?
Fifth, it should support the body's natural detoxification processes. By improving the gut flora and strengthening that gut barrier, the strategy helps your body flush out toxins more efficiently overall.
Ah, so less toxic burden system-wide.
Exactly, which indirectly supports cleaner oral tissues and just reduces the overall stress on your system.
Okay. And the final sort of overarching benefit.
The 6th action is really about promoting whole body wellness. It's the sum of the parts. Because, as we've seen, the mouth and gut have such a huge influence on your body's immune status and overall inflammatory responses. Balancing them properly tends to give you that general lift, more energy, more vitality. When your microbes are happy and harmonious, your whole system just runs better, cleaner.
It sounds like a very targeted approach. And achieving that level of specific action must require very specific probiotic strains, right? Not just any old mix you find on the shelf.
Absolutely not. The sources we looked at highlighted 4 specific symbiotic strains as being really central to this kind of dual action function. They're chosen for their clinically studied effectiveness in these specific roles.
Okay, so which strains are doing the heavy lifting here?
Well, for tackling inflammation right in the mouth, the research points strongly to Lactobacillus reuteri. This one is specifically known for reducing gum bleeding and calming down that inflammation in the oral cavity.
Okay, readery for inflammation. What about that stubborn odor issue we spent so much time on?
For directly combating odor, the key player mentioned is Streptococcus salivarius K12. This is kind of a champion strain for the mouth. It actively fights off the bacteria that cause bad breath.
How does it do that?
It essentially outcompetes them, taking up the space and resources those VSE-producing bacteria would otherwise use. It promotes lasting fresh breath by changing the oral ecology.
Interesting. Okay, so we've covered the mouth inflammation and odor. Now, which strains are focused more on the gut side and the systemic effects?
For strengthening that crucial gut barrier and dealing with systemic inflammation, the sources point to Lactobacillus paracasei. This strain is vital for tightening up the gut lining, reducing leakiness, and thereby lowering that overall systemic inflammation that can boomerang back to the gums.
Right, the leaky gut connection.
Right.
And the last one.
And finally, for overall digestive health and immune balance, we have Bifidobacterium lactis. This is a powerhouse for improving digestion, helping you absorb nutrients better, and really supporting broad immune balance throughout the whole digestive tract.
So those 4 together, Reuteri, Salivarius K12, Paracasei, and B. lactis, they provide that comprehensive coverage from the top of the system all the way down.
That's the idea, based on the functions highlighted in the research, a synergistic team effort.
So what does this all really mean for you listening right now? I think it boils down to this realization. Oral care isn't or shouldn't be a standalone issue. The path to a genuinely healthy mouth, one that feels good and smells fresh long-term, seems to require a healthy gut too. Just focusing on brushing and flossing, while essential, might be insufficient if there's a deeper microbial imbalance going on.
Yeah, it means we really need to shift our perspective, moving away from thinking of oral care as just a surface-level, maybe even cosmetic effort, towards seeing it as part of an integrated internal health strategy, one that truly recognizes how deeply interconnected these systems are.
And the potential outcomes, When both of these ecosystems, the mouth and the gut, are finally working together in sync, they sound pretty transformative. Naturally fresher breath that actually lasts, stronger gums that don't bleed easily, noticeably improved digestion, less chronic inflammation floating around your system, and maybe even just feeling more energetic overall. It's really about bridging that vital biological connection.
It absolutely is. And maybe if we connect this all back to the bigger picture, the reality of this gut-mouth connection suggests a final kind of provocative thought for you to take away. Consider this. The health of your gut is so fundamental, so tied into everything else, that the quality of your morning breath, or the chronic state of your gums, or maybe that sensitive tooth that just won't quit, these might not just be minor annoyances. They could actually be one of the most accessible diagnostic tools you have.
Wow, like a personal check engine light.
Exactly. They might be warning signs, reflecting your overall level of systemic inflammation, urging you to maybe look beyond just the surface symptoms and start thinking about your total microbial health from top to bottom.